Hey, Luke here with CaptainCarp.com, and I'm going to show you a secret carp bait of mine. Cured sweet corn. These little pink bundles of joy are sweet corn, just normal plain old sweet corn that have been cured and turned this hi-vis pink color. They've been toughened up and been given a little extra kick of flavor, and absolutely fabulous. Keeps longer in your fridge and the carp love it. It's tougher, harder to tear off the hook. It's a very, very nice carp bait. I've been doing very well on these recently. And so at any rate, I'm going to show you how I mix these up, how I rig them up, how to make it, and how to catch carp with it.
First, you're going to need some ProCure Kokanee Killer Corn Dye. Fabulous stuff. Then you want a glass sealable jar, a can opener, and a 1 teaspoon measuring spoon. Then you're going to want to crack open your cans of sweet corn. Now make sure you don't drain off the juices. You're going to want the juices and all the kernels. You're going to want to fill the jar up about 80% full, not all the way up. I'd really recommend using a glass sealable jar. I tried using this with Tupperware before, and when you're shaking it around, the lid comes off or the lid leaks and all this pink dye gets everywhere, and it's just a huge pain. So you want a really good sturdy glass jar. Now this Kokanee Killer Corn Dye is really potent stuff. You only need about 1 teaspoon per normal size can of corn. So these are double size, so 3 or 4 teaspoons does the job, but it's not really exact. You can just kind of eyeball it and it's good enough. But you can see right away it's already starting to bleed pink. And what you're going to do is you want to shake this up and let it mix really well, and all you need to do is let it stand for 30 minutes, and that's it, and it's ready to go. This stuff makes the corn tougher. It dyes it pink, obviously, and it also adds a fun, powerful fish attractant to it. So it's a really powerful triple threat. Once you have your corn cured, get yourself a bag of instant grits, and then get yourself a can of instant oatmeal. Just the cheap stuff's fine. Now take your bottle of cured corn. It should look nice and deep and rich and pink like this, and pour an ample amount of oats into a bucket. Doesn't really matter however much. Then about 3 to 1 you want oats to grits. So put about 3 times as much oats as grits, and then dump in most of your can, but not all of your can. Okay, you want to make sure you get all those juices in there. Now leave a few bits of corn for hook baits. Then mix it all up, and it should look kind of like this. It doesn't have to be exactly like this, but something like this, with not lots of pink little kernels of corn floating around in there. And you work it, and very quickly it starts to become squishy and it sticks together, and pretty quickly you're able to form a ball. Now it'll get drier as it sits out and more of the grits absorb the moisture, but just add a little lake water if it starts to get too dry, and go safe. Don't add too much moisture at the beginning. You can always add more water, but it's harder to take water out. But once it gets a nice little dough ball, you're good to go. Now you see here I'm using hair rigs for this type of bait. Now hair rigs are absolutely my favorite rig for carp fishing. The hair rig's special because you put the bait on a little bit of string called the hair that comes off the shank. So instead of putting the bait on the tip of the hook, you're putting it on the hair instead. And there's 3 big advantages for doing a hair rig. First off, the carp have a very hard time detecting the hook with the hair rig. They mouth the bait and they feel only the bait and not the hook point. Then once they suck it in, they get some. Additionally, the hair rig has a much better hookup ratio. They don't spit the hook nearly as easily. And 3, the hair rig is much harder for turtles and small bluegill to get in their mouth, so you don't end up hooking a lot of nuisance fish. But once you put the 3 or 4 kernels onto the hair rig, you put on a bait stop to keep it from coming off, and then you attach your leader to your main line with a little Corda quick clip, just like this. You cover the Corda quick clip with a little plastic sleeve to keep it from coming off, and then you stuff your method lead with bait. Now a method lead is this lead with the holes in it. It's designed to grip the oatmeal and to keep it from coming off. It's great for pack baits and soft squishy baits that you pack around your lead, just like this. So a method lead is a great way to use this bait. You don't need a method lead. You could use regular leads instead, but they work better with method leads. And just, you see, you got a nice little ball of bait with your hook shoved in it. Just cast that thing out there, and you've got a nice pile of chum right by your hook bait. It's absolutely a very effective method. And you see here I'm putting my rod into my bite alarms, turning on the bite alarms, and we're ready to go. And I like to chum around here, so just take some balls of oatmeal and chuck it out right where you're casting, and you can't really overdo that. The more the merrier. This method of fishing is really perfect for quick, short sessions. You're chumming really precisely around your bait. It's a very powerful attractant bait, and it catches lots of fish. The carp absolutely love this bait, and the hair rigs work like a charm.
Corner of the mouth.
Every time the hook's either in the corner of the mouth or in the bottom lip, right where it should be. It's the best place to hook a carp. Absolutely effective combo, hair rigs and cured corn. This fishing trip was a really typical trip for me. I don't get a lot of time to just go spend hours on end fishing. Usually when I go fishing, it's for 1 or 2 hours right before work or after work. And when you're doing that, you really need a quick bite. You need to get in, get out, get your fish, and get on with it. And this method is really, really good for that. Because you're packing your chum around your lead, you're chumming very close to where your hook bait is. So when carp find your chum, they get to your hook bait much quicker than if you're chumming with a spot or a slingshot or other methods. Grits, sweet corn, and oatmeal are not very filling baits, so they work really good on short sessions, but they don't hold the fish in one area for very long, so it's not a very good bait for long sessions. Additionally, you tend to burn through a lot of it because turtles and bluegills tend to steal your corn a lot. But it's cheap, it's easy, and it also catches big fish.
Heavy one.
I love carp fishing and I love catfishing, but pound for pound, carp just pull your drag so much better. They are just really, really good fighting fish, and man, you can catch some huge ones. I've caught some really nice fish on this cured sweet corn, and I just really like it as a bait. I really like how it takes almost zero prep time. You know, you throw some dye in a can of corn, you add some grits and oatmeal. It's really quick. It's really quick, and the dye only takes about 30 minutes to set in, so it's not like it takes a lot of advance notice. I chuck it into the can of sweet corn or into the jar, and by the time I've got my rigs and bite alarm set up, it's all cured and ready to go. It was just really easy, and it's just perfect for these short sessions. Well, as you can see, you don't need to sit on the bank all day to have a rip-roaring session carp fishing. Typical weekday, got a few hours before going to work, get out there right as the sun rises, and by the time the sun comes over and it's starting to warm up, I've already got 4 or 5 fish on the bank. Just an absolute great way to spend a morning, and this is the perfect bait for this type of session. And it produces big fish, and it produces a lot of fish. It's a really great quick session bait, and I just really, really like it. And I like how the cured corn just lasts better, it stays firmer, and it has just that little extra bit of attractant, that high visibility. Well, if you like these videos, check out some of our other videos, including how to make a great winter stick mix and how to make boiled feed corn and prepared feed corn as carp bait. And don't forget to hit subscribe.